Good day, fellow captains, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing some quick gameplay in the Kitakaze. As you can see on screen, I have the commander really quick, Kitakaze. He's built basically as the American gunboat destroyer that I showed you a little earlier in the month. Or I think that was actually last month. Anyway, it's built basically like the Fletcher. Gun reload speed. The only real difference is I did use that engine mod rather than the rudder. The rudder isn't great on this ship, however, the speed isn't great either. And being able to get up to speed quickly is pretty important when it comes to running away from the enemy, should that be what you need to do, or chasing down an enemy. You will find that you will have to do both from time to time, so it's just something to consider. Excuse me. For this match, as you can see, we have a few destroyers on the enemy team. Small end, black, Hayate, and I think it was a Shimakaze, if I remember right. All pretty good ships, but when it comes to gun-on-gun, one-on-one battles, they really can't hold a candle to the Kitakaze. This ship is quite literally one of the best ships when it comes to destroyer-on-destroyer gunfights. I don't think there's too many ships out there that could go toe-to-toe with this ship. There's a couple that come to mind, maybe the Daring. Probably not, though, seeing as how that is 2 guns short of being of the same firepower. Perhaps the Khabarovsk. I know that I've engaged the Khabarovsk before in I believe it was the Akizuki before they made the Tier 8 change, and Tier 7s were still engaging with Legendary, and that ship can definitely do quite a bit of damage. However, if I get the jump on somebody, especially destroyer-wise, oftentimes with the Akizuki or the Kitakaze, I can clear out an enemy destroyer and still have a decent amount of health pool remaining. As long as, you know, his friends aren't engaging me as well, trying to get rid of me. As far as the Iwami is concerned, you can see I sent some torps there. Some screening torps if he wanted to continue to push forward. He did make that change, so those aren't going to hit, obviously. But that's okay. I have that torpedo reload booster should I need it, and I'll just keep that in my back pocket should the need arise. As far as the Iwami is concerned, and this particular push that he's making, doesn't make a whole lot of sense to make a push like that if you're not going to have support from your teammates, because as you can see, there is almost 13 minutes left, and he is almost out of health. Ran into the enemy black here. He pops smoke and pops his radar in order to keep me spotted. However, he is shooting out of his smoke, so I'm able to essentially guess where he's at just from the shells that I'm seeing come out from the smoke there. So I'm just going to keep fire on him until as long as I'm spotted. As soon as I go dark, I'm going to hold my fire, let my smoke break detection, and then I'm going to come back around in order to keep eyes on that smoke screen. Depending on what he's going to do, spot torpedoes, spot him coming out of the smoke, and it turns out that that's exactly what he does. He jumps out of his smoke for some reason. I think the black has roughly a 2-minute smoke screen, so there wasn't too much reason for him to do that. Maybe he was trying to avoid my torps, but either way, it's back to port for the enemy black. Now, as far as the rest of the match is concerned and the enemy destroyers, there's not too much that poses a threat. Maybe the Hayate. The Hayate has a decent set of guns on it. However, when it comes to gun-on-gun battles, I would argue he's not going to keep up with the Kitakaze. Now, if I meet him in open water and with the health that I have, he's got full health, I'll probably be in trouble. But as long as I play intelligently, he probably doesn't have a chance. Luckily, he runs into a friendly torpedo, loses a big chunk of health, and I'm going to drop shells on him as long as I am able. As you can see, he gets left there with a tiny bit of health. We lucked out there, and friendly battleship takes the shot and gets rid of him. So that's less dangerous torpedoes for us to deal with, and that is a dangerous gunboat that I don't have to deal with a few minutes further into the future. Now there's an enemy Lepanto here, and he is kind of hugging that island you can see right there. But he is taking fire from several friendly ships, and holding that position indefinitely is probably not going to happen. However, you did just see a friendly, I believe it was a Montana, sailing behind me, full broadside to the Lepanto, and he pays for it with his life. If at all possible, when engaging enemy ships, especially battleship on battleship fights, try not to show full side to a tier 8 battleship whenever possible. Pretty accurate, and you're pretty much just asking to be put out of the fight early.
Nice work.
As far as the rest of the match is concerned, you can see on the map the friendly ships that remain. There's a few that are kind of clumped up here near the western portion of the map, and we all are going to end up focusing this Lepanto in order to try to get rid of him. You can see just the volume of fire that the Kitakaze is able to put out when it comes to these guns. Excuse me. And they are lower caliber. They're the same as the Akizuki, 100mm, so they don't do a whole heck of a lot of damage. However, when it comes to just the sheer volume of fire and the amount of fires that you can put out in a game, that's where this ship shines, especially when engaging ships that have heavier armor than, say, a destroyer or a light cruiser. When it comes to engaging, say, heavy cruisers to battleships, that's when HE really comes into play, and keeping fires on the enemy, keeping fires set, and using that smoke to your advantage. Your smoke and, I will say, friends spotting for you, so that you can either stay behind an island and rain down on enemies, or stay in your smoke and keep fire on enemies. Now,
Nice work.
You just saw our friendly Yamato die to a bunch of torpedoes. Yeah, we're not getting a whole lot of help from the ships to the south there. I think they were either afraid of the Shimakaze or they were afraid of the Yamato. Either way, they're not really contributing to us being able to win this match. So this Z44 and myself are going to have to tighten up the straps on this backpack and just carry this team, which is fine. The state of the game lately, I'm pretty used to that at this point. Smallin gets spotted. Whether he stays dark or not, I'm going to fire. Luckily, he fires his guns, and I'm able to keep fire on him. And with these guns, with the lower caliber, they're a little floaty, so they're able to go over that smaller portion, are able to jump over that lower portion of the island to be able to continue to hit him for a while. I'm going to push up and around this island in order to get a crossfire on the enemy while that 44 stays over on the right.
Engine boost.
I luck out a
Nice
little
work.
bit and hit the Yamato with a torpedo and get a flood, which means he had to burn his repair party. Which means he had to burn his damage control party, which is great because, as you may have noticed, this ship is a fire setter. So I'm going to drop shells on him now. However, Kitakaze gets spotted and he's got almost no health remaining. So he is definitely priority target. He could just disappear and win the match if he gets away with going dark again. So drop shells on him. Unfortunately, he gets behind the island. I wasn't able to stop. I kept rolling. So now I'm going to hold my fire on the Yamato, wait for the Kitakaze to come around the corner, but the 44 gets him. Now, with this match, with the points, we have to kill every ship in order to get this win. However, we're lucky here because the last enemy ship has almost no health. He had already burned his
Smoke generator started.
damage control consumable, so those fires just burnt him out, as well as myself and Z44. Now you can see with the Kitakaze, even with only getting one kill, top of the team. It's pretty easy to get top of the team with this ship. It is probably one of the finest gunboats in the game. I rarely have a game where I am unhappy with the result or feel like I am underpowered when dealing with the enemy. Even if I'm dealing with an enemy cruiser, if I'm able to get behind cover or in my smoke and they do not have radar, this boat just shines. It's just a constant rain of shells that frustrates the enemy and makes them make mistakes because they're not thinking straight. So I wanted to make a quick community contributor comment. It seems like lately there's a lot of videos coming out where it's like, I'm the best player, look at all these kills I got. And I think it sets the stage for players new to the game to assume that that's what they should strive for. I think that is not the proper mentality at all. My personal opinion, I think you're playing the game wrong. I think you have the wrong mentality. And I know that videos exist where a single player is just absolutely smashing every enemy ship that they come across. They have 6, 7, 8 kills. And that's great. But a majority of the time, at least from what I've seen, and I've played the game since it came out on console. I played the game when it was on PC before it came out on console. That is pretty rare compared to winning games as a team. And normally I would say in those videos where you see one person running around smashing everybody, it's usually because the enemy team is not actually paying attention to that one player and they're showing side when they shouldn't. They are playing the game wrong. And that's a team that is playing the game wrong. And you're not paying attention to your minimap. Those are the teams that are getting absolutely ransacked like that. And that's the team that I'm talking about. And that's the matchups that I'm seeing lately is matchups where one team just absolutely dominates the other side. And I've been on both teams where one team loses maybe one boat, sometimes no ships at all, and every other ship on the enemy team on the other side dies. And I think it's a wargaming problem where they're not actually properly matchmaking. The matchmaking is so poor that this is what we get. I don't think it has much to do with great players in the player base. I think good players are happening across terrible teams that are being put together by a terrible algorithm. Again, this is just my opinion. I don't have any data supporting this. The only data I have is all these games that I've been playing within the last 3 to 6 months and seeing just how many of these matches turn out to be blowouts. And I mean total blowouts where, again, it's 1 or 2 ships die on one team and the other side just gets absolutely steamrolled. I think Wargaming needs to take a look at their matchmaking algorithm and fix something, because I think maybe yesterday I played a match, I didn't record it, and my team had absolutely no divisions and the other team had 4 divisions. That doesn't make any sense to me. That makes 0 sense. Why would you give one team a bunch of players that are obviously going to work together and another side where no one is going to work together? And I know that in the past that hasn't been an issue. I've seen where the divisions are equal. I think those days are over. And that's it for my rant, at least for today. If you enjoyed this content, consider subscribing. Leave a like, hit the notification bell for future content like this, and even comment down below letting me know any ships that you're interested in seeing a closer look at, any ships you're interested in seeing gameplay of, or even other games you might be interested in seeing. I'm Buckshot Bucky. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.